Hey guys, Looch7 here. Looch. Here with a Looch's Thoughts episode. This is gonna be a classic Looch video where, well, especially like recently, like the last 2 months, where I'm gonna make a video, I'm gonna give it a title like it's a series. And I don't know if it's gonna become a series, and if it does become a series, I don't know like how consistently I'm gonna do it. So I'm just gonna do that. I've been doing that, I don't know, I've done that a few times for like the last 2 months, and that's mostly because I'm not 100%, I went over this several update videos, I'm not like 100% into YouTube at this point. I've already, it's pretty much like all Twitch for the most part. And when I do YouTube stuff, it's usually like something that I'm really motivated to do, and that's kind of why it like comes in spurts, I guess. But yeah, so I guess I wanted to like do my own video. I did the video with Matt. I did the podcast with Cladden, which you'll see soon. It was a pretty interesting one. How we were both like, you could tell we were both like not 100% like happy with the game, I guess, but we were both kind of like torn on it. So I don't know, but at the same time we were both also kind of annoyed with like other opinions on it and stuff like that. So so that was kind of a fun one. And then the one I did with Matt was probably the most positive one, and yeah, RuneScaping on the side. So that's just gonna be a thing. All right, I'll just cut it out, except for when I don't. So basically, I want to just do my own video so I could get my own thoughts on it and get like everything out there. Sorry, I just thought I saw a spider for some reason. I'm like tripping. So I guess like to start things off, like the first thing that I'd probably want to address is the guns in the game. I'm kind of torn on how I feel about the guns. If you want to just like talk about like not being nitpicky at all, just like very general feeling on the guns, like they feel good. I wouldn't say that if anything, like it's the time to kill that feels overpowered to me, or not overpowered, but the time to kill that feels off more so than like the feel of the guns that feels off, I guess. So that's something that like I'll get to time to kill at another point in the video. But yeah, so just like purely for the guns, I think my biggest criticism of the weapons in this game is that like it was kind of I'd have to check and see if this was something that Infinity Ward, or that developers, maybe like the events or something that they addressed, because I honestly don't remember if it is something that they addressed or brought up, or like part of the marketing part on Twitter or something. I'm not 100% sure if this is a thing or if this was something that I just heard from YouTubers or streamers, whoever that played the game. But one thing that I know that I heard a lot, and again it could be just like from them before the game came out, is that the guns have recoil in this game. That it's like something I heard from multiple of those people, is that like, oh, this is like the most recoil there's ever been in a COD game, and that's just like a flat out lie. Like that's just like complete marketing bullshit. Yeah, it was just complete marketing thing, and it just wasn't true. I'm sorry if you think that the guns in this game have the most recoil of any COD game. You have not played every COD game. The COD games that have the most recoil are the first two CODs, which I would wager like the mass majority of Call of Duty players currently have not touched those games, don't even know like what the covers to those games would look like. So that's the thing, because those games are part of the series. The series did not start with Call of Duty 4. Little history lesson for everyone out there. So yeah, anybody that says that, they have not played those two games. They're saying like, oh, this is the most recoil since like COD 4, which also isn't true. There are plenty of other COD games that I think, I think Black Ops 4 has, I wouldn't say every gun in Black Ops 4 has more recoil than the guns in this game, but I would say that like quite a few of them do, and some of them are like pretty competitive. And I'm not saying that that I feel like the amount of recoil on the guns is bad. I actually think it's good. I think it's generally, for some of the guns, like more recoil than we've had in some of the past few Call of Duties, which is good. I like that. I like more recoil. I like there being more of a skill gap on the weapon control. But there's also kind of like a caveat to it with this fast time to kill. Again, I'll get to in a second. So I'm not saying that I completely hate the way that the guns feel. I'm just saying that I'm a little disappointed that was like the whole marketing thing was that, oh, this is going to be like, oh, this is going to be game changing how much recoil there is, right? It's going to be like something that we haven't seen, when in reality it just feels like the amount of recoil for a COD game. Nothing like particularly different there, so that's kind of frustrating. But yeah, in general, like gun feel is good. Let me just get to the time to kill because I keep like bringing it up, and I don't want to like keep cheesing around it. I might as well just get it out there right away, right here. So like I am not a fan of this time to kill. I'm just gonna like say it straight up. Plenty of factors that go into this, but I would, and even like a lot of supporters of this game, a lot of people that like, I think even Clatton's like one of the more positive people, and I think even he thinks it should have at least like a slight increase. But yeah, I'm personally not a fan of the time to kill in this game. I think it's close. I think it's close, but I think it's just like a little too fast. You know, Black Ops 4, if Black Ops 4's time to kill is like a little too long, this game's time to kill is like a little too fast. And if they could find more of a happy medium with this time to kill, just like decrease it just a tad bit, I think it could be in a really good spot. I think they're close to having it good, but right now it's a little too fast. And like personally, you know, again, like talking about Black Ops 4, personally, if it's going to be between a too fast time to kill, too long, I would prefer the too long if I was going to go between those two extremes. But what you want is that happy medium, and I think that they can achieve that. It's just that it feels like they took a direction with the time to kill, and I don't know if they're going to make that change. I would like to see them make that change, but it's just, you'd have to do so much. I just don't think it's going to happen, so I just think this is how the time to kill is going to be. But there are other ways that you could improve it. There are other ways that you could remedy that. Yeah, there are other ways that you could deal with it. So, like I was talking about the recoil before. If the recoil was actually really difficult, like it was advertised, then that would, you know, it wouldn't purely increase the time to kill, right? But like practically it would. People would miss more shots, and in that way the time to kill would feel longer, right? Even though it's not like, if you get down to the pure numbers of it, even though you're not technically increasing the time to kill by increasing recoil, in a lot of practical like game scenarios you're going to be increasing it. So that is a route that they could take. For console in particular, you could decrease the aim assist. I am of the personal belief that the aim assist is a bit too strong for my taste in this COD. I think it's the lower amounts of recoil than advertised, and the strong aim assist adds up to a very easy shooting experience, and I don't think there is as much of a skill gap and skill ceiling to gun skill and like the way that and firing your weapon in this game as I would like for a Call of Duty game. And again, like the whole aim assist aspect, completely console focused, but this affects the PC crowd too with crossplay this year. I mean, there have been some PC players complaining about like that console aim assist being hard to compete with, and I know you'll get that like classic response from the console players that is like, you know, you have a freaking mouse, like whatever, who cares, you just like to bitch and whine, which is true of a lot of PC players, to be fair, but at the same time, I've, you know, even though I mostly just do my streams on console now, one thing that a lot of people probably don't know about me is that I do, like my two platforms are like, I do play on console and PC. Obviously like nowadays and for the last, I don't know, maybe like 6, 7, 8 years or so, it's been mostly console, but I still do play on PC from time to time, and there was a point in my life where I was primary PC for first-person shooters for quite a significant amount of time, so I do have a lot of time on PC with them, and I have to say that if I was thinking about this from a PC perspective, I would agree with a lot of those players' opinion, especially because I have a unique perspective. Those PC players are just like projecting their thoughts on the aim assist, right? Like they don't, a lot of those PC players complaining about it probably haven't played the game on console, so they probably don't have like an entire perspective on it, whereas I've played a lot of console shooters, I've played a lot of PC shooters, and I've particularly like played COD on both, and I've played, you know, this COD. I haven't played this COD on both, but I've played COD on both, and again, we're specifically talking about this one. I'm specifically talking about aim assist, so console matters here, that I've played it on console. And I just, given all that, I think that it's too strong. I don't think it's fair in a crossplay environment. I don't think it's fair in a fucking console v console environment. I think that it decreases the amount of skill it takes to play the game, and I would like to see a decrease in the strength of the aim assist the way it is right now. I just think it's far too easy to shoot, and you know, you couple that with the fast time to kill and the low recoil, and it just adds for a very frustrating experience, and an experience that doesn't give me as much of a skill ceiling as I'd like. I don't feel like Black Ops 4, I really felt like I could improve on a lot of things with the time to kill in that game and with the way the guns handled. This game, not so much. Yeah, so to round out that thought, I would like to see a little bit of an increase to the time to kill. There are other ways that you could do it besides literally increasing, like decreasing the fire rates of the guns, and lowering the damage, increasing the player health. Like, there are other ways that you could do it than that. Recoil and aim assist. Aim assist, particularly for console, are two ways that I think that they could explore to practically increase the time to kill without exactly adjusting the system that they already have in the game, if that makes sense. You're gonna have to adjust part of a system either way. There's so many factors that go into it. But those are the factors that I would like to see explored. Next big thing that I would like to bring up, the maps. Let me just go through all of them. This is gonna be like a Looch podcast at this point. So again, if you don't have to watch it if you want to. Just put it in the background or you're playing something, whatever. Just fucking enjoy it. So the maps. And like with everything, this game is super polarizing. And like with everything with this game, I've seen like some super polarizing opinions on it. But this is, coming from my perspective, I honestly hate these fucking maps. I don't want to sound like too negative in the stuff that I've gone over in the video. So far, okay, I don't want to sound like too negative, but I'm just getting all that stuff out there. The maps, I do not enjoy them very much. The only map, so let me go through them all. So for the 6v6 in particular, because there's a lot of maps to go through here. For the 6v6 in particular, my favorite map is Gunrunner. That's not saying a lot. If I were to do my top 25 COD maps of all time from any COD, this map would not be in it. Okay, so it's nothing special. It's the best of the shit. So it's not that great. It's just the standout of the group, which isn't saying a lot. So Gunrunner is my favorite, and I think the reason why Gunrunner is my favorite out of these section of maps is because it has the least amount of the parts of the map design from the other maps that I dislike. Gunrunner has the least of those aspects, and that is why I like it the most. And if you want me to get more specific here, I don't want to beat around the bush. What I'm particularly talking about here is the lanes in this game. They say that they've taken a step back from the 3-lane map design, and that's just not entirely true. And anybody, I see it a lot in the Modern Warfare subreddit, oh, fucking noob can't handle something that's not 3-lane. There's still 3-lane maps, so that's already a non-point. There's still 3-lane maps. Fucking look at the layout, draw it out. There's still 3 lanes, okay? There's just more clutter, and there's just too many openings and sight lines, but in general, the maps are still 3-lane. Maybe I'll put up some fucking pictures on this video or some shit and prove it, because you don't really have to prove it. I mean, if you have eyes or if you have a brain and you play the maps, you can tell that they're still 3-lane maps. They're just worse. That's just really what it comes down to. To be fair, I do think, when I was talking about the middle grounds before, when I was talking about middle grounds with the time to kill shit like that, I think there's a middle ground with the maps, right? You can have 3-lane and have it be too restrictive. You can have 3-lane, have it be too open. To me, these maps are 3-lane but too open. Way too many crosses in general. There's way too many super long ass sight lines from several different lanes that veer into several different lanes that just feel like they don't. I feel like the maps aren't restricted enough. You don't feel like you can own a lane in this map, okay? You can't have one person go to a lane and own it. It feels like there's just so much that you have to watch, and if you really wanted to run the map and play off that, you'd have to have a full coordinated team, which obviously you're not going to be able to do in a casual public match. So other CODs, Black Ops 4 for example, I can go one lane and I can confidently believe in my ability to control that one lane. In this game, I don't feel like I could. I feel like I'd have to worry about my flank, because even if I see teammates go middle, there's still going to be ways that somehow the enemy team will sneak through my team middle. Whereas, Black Ops 4, for example, Arsenal, it's really hard for that to happen on any of those lanes, right? Frequency, it's really hard for that to happen, any of those lanes. Fucking Seaside, it's really hard for that to happen, any of those lanes. You could just send one person, maybe they won't be able to hold it, but they can at least account for it. This game, that's just not the case with these maps, and there's so many, just Cave, for example. Cave, there's just so much clutter on it. We'll get to the visibility in a second, but with the visibility issues combined with the way the maps are designed. It just makes for like an awful experience, and people feel like they can't move. I think that contributes to the campiness, because I think people realize like there's so much extra shit and ways to traverse these maps that people realize it's like, why would I push a lane and try to get map control when I could just, you know, play in TDM for example, but people do this in every single mode, believe me, especially Dom, so fucking annoying. They think like, oh wow, there's all this bullshit, I should just sit in my spawn, because that's the best way I could account for like an entire lane, is to just sit in my spawn and watch the push. Because if I actually push out into the lane, there's just too much shit to account for, and it's just too hard if you're not like coordinating with someone in a party. And so you see a lot of people like camping and playing slow. Again, there's a lot of factors to that, but I think that the map design is one of them. So yeah, Cave, I hate Cave. There's just too much clutter on Cave, and the whole Cave area of the map is just absolute fucking trash. It reminds me of the barrel side a little bit. It's not exactly the same, but like kind of the same concept. It reminds me of the barrel side on Seaside, where it's just a complete clusterfuck, and I hate it. Hackney Yard, I absolutely despise as well. I just think that there's too much verticality in that map, too many areas where you can just like watch lanes, and when you're traversing a lane, again, this game, it's really hard to be aggressive when you have to account for like so many different angles that people could be, whereas in Black Ops 4, you push a lane, it's like, okay, you watch this or you watch that. There's like two ways. Whereas in this game, you know, when you want to push a lane, it's like, all right, I got this camping spot, I got that camping spot, I got this camping spot. You know, my teammate middle might not be able to see this lane, so I gotta account for the fact that I could get flanked from middle, and fucking nobody ever watches anything, and somehow people just randomly flank all the time in this game, and the mini-map is trash, so I gotta watch my back as well. I might get flanked. Like, it's a complete clusterfuck, and it's supposed to be a tactical game, but the actual, like, casual matches don't feel tactical at all on these maps. And again, like Gunrunner, it's fine. It has the same issues as the other maps, but just not as much, so it's okay. Sorry, take a drink. Hell yeah. So yeah, like going on with the maps. So that's like my opinion on the 6v6 maps. The 2v2 maps, again, like talking about the extremes here, they're being a middle. I think the 2v2 maps are too basic, which is weird. Like from what I all just talked about with the 6v6 maps, I feel like the 2v2 maps are too basic. And there's just like not enough creativity on them, and like you pretty much all the 2v2 maps you can like shoot across from spawn, and there's just, the rounds go so quick, and it's just like not interesting. I got bored of, because all the hype in this game, there's a lot of people like this 2v2 mode, something crazy. This is gonna be like my main mode of the game. I gave it a chance. I went into it with an open mind. I literally played 3 matches of the 2v2 because I wanted to try all 3 maps. We got lucky. We got to do 3 matches on all 3 maps, and never revisited it. Never revisited it, and my partner that I was playing with, Drew, did not show any interest for the rest of the beta anytime that I played with him in wanting to revisit it either. So, yeah. I don't know if that's just a personal thing, but like, there just wasn't, I just did not find the gameplay. I played each map once in the 2v2, and I was like, damn, I just experienced the mode. Like, it was it. So, I think the 2v2, to make it interesting, it needs to be a competitive mode. It needs like a ranked playlist from the start if you want to make this interesting. And I would like to see some 2v2 maps. I would like to see some gunfight respawn, maybe like gunfight hardpoint, something like that. I think that'd be cool. And again, open up the maps a little bit, give a little bit more creativity on these 2v2 maps, just a little bit more open. Like, look at some Halo 2v2 maps. I think Halo 2v2 maps are fucking perfect. And not all of them are, but just like the general design of them is what it should be for like a 2v2 game mode. And this game, I think, just does not offer that interesting gameplay. You know, I could hop on Halo and play 2v2 for fucking hours. This game, played it for like 30 minutes, or maybe like 20, and I was done. So that's how I think on that. But again, like, so quick recap on the 2v2. I don't, because I guess I'm talking about maps, but I'm guessing getting like my review for the modes as well here, because we're just jumping around, going through everything. I'm trying to cover it all with this video. This may be like 2 hour long, just me talking. I don't fucking know, dude. But yeah, so finishing it off here with the 2v2. I just think that it's just, it doesn't hold enough replayability for me. And again, because I don't want to seem too negative, I don't think it's bad. I don't think the 2v2 mode is bad. I just did not find it that particularly interesting. You know, like there's some people who are like, oh, the 2v2 is gonna be my main mode this year. Whoa, that's Freudian slip. I was thinking about it like, I don't think I would, you know, I'm not gonna spend $60 in this game to play the 2v2 all year. Like, that's not my thing. So if it's your thing, great, but I'd rather just play Halo. Okay, so going on to the ground war. Only the one map with ground war, so I only have one map to go through. And I'm going to be comparing, when I talk about ground war here in the ground war map, I'm going to be comparing it to Battlefield because that's what you should be comparing it to. That's what they're trying to compete with. So, like, I don't feel like it's unfair to compare it to Battlefield because that's clearly what they're going for. You know, with the 2v2, I feel like they're trying to steal like that Halo-ish audience. With the ground war, I feel like they're trying to steal like that Battlefield audience. So how do I feel about it? I'm going to talk about the mode as a whole in the map. So like the map first, it's not as good as a Battlefield map. Okay, I'm just going to be completely honest. I'll get more positive throughout the video, I swear. I'm getting all the negativity out. The ground war map is not as good of a Battlefield map, Okay, it's super